Hey everyone, this is Ryan Mallory for SharePlanner.com. Today is June 13th, 2013. I want to go over some stuff in the market today. I want to go over the current positions in my portfolio, what I'm thinking about going forward here. But also to, it's been a rough few days in the market. Actually, prior to today, the last 10 of the 15 days in the market, we had resulted in a closing price that was lower than the day before. So it's been red 10 out of the last 15 days prior to today. Now we're getting a strong bounce today. We're up about 18 points right now. And the bulls are probably feeling a little bit better. I think a lot of what we're seeing today, because it's a perpetual push higher, as you can see on the upper left-hand corner of the screen on the 5-minute chart, we have just slowly trended higher the entire day, and we're probably going to do that into the close. That's a good sign to me that we're seeing a solid short squeeze out of the bears today. Now, right now I have about 8 positions open on this market. Some of them, 2 of them, which goes all the way back into May. There's a part of me that would like to get rid of a couple of those 2 May positions, and but the charts on them look fine. So I'm not going to. I'm going to keep them. That's part of swing trading. Sometimes you keep them for longer, than you expect. Sometimes, a couple of days. Sometimes as much as a month or 2. But here's what I want to point out first on the S&P. We had a poor showing on Monday, which was the high of the markets prior to the sell-off we got on Tuesday and Wednesday. Those highs was, even though it finished red, that's because it gave back the day's early gains. Those highs, it was pretty low volume. So the next 2 days, the volume got sort of back on par, still less than what we've been seeing of late. But this trend line, going off of this November lows, this trend line needed a hold today. That was at 16.13 yesterday. The trend line moved up to 16.15 today. We opened below it, but we've pushed above it. So in my opinion, based on what the closing price will be, assuming that we don't have this dramatic late day sell-off, that in my opinion is a good sign that the trend line's holding at this point. The other thing I want to mention too, this box here, this was the previous consolidation area that we had been in, and we broke below it, and I don't think it really holds too much merit now, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. We can also get rid of this mini trend line that we had been trading off of, but this downward trend line here, this is pretty important, because we did break above it back on Friday of last week, and then we dropped down below it slightly as of yesterday, and now we're back above it. Okay, all that's good and bullish and all that. We also been bouncing around here off of the lower Bollinger Band, but probably the most interesting is, when I zoom in, is the 50-day moving average. 2 perfect days of testing this thing and bouncing right off of it. So it looks like, whether it's the buying machines, I don't know, but you can see recent past, we closed below it here, and then we got bought up the next day. The 50-day moving average, there is a lot of activity to the buy side occurring at the 50-day moving average. Not perfect like what we've seen over the last 2 days, but no doubt that's where the buyers continue to become interested in buying up stocks. At every time we test that 50-day moving average, it seems like we see a surge in the buying. So that's something to keep moving forward. If we do pull away from the 50-day moving average, let's say we go up to 1700 or so, there's going to be a month or 2 down the road then, if that occurs, to where we're going to probably pull back again. And that 50-day moving average probably should be in the back of everybody's mind, particularly for shorting too, because shorts today are obviously getting just hammered. We have 1 short out of the 8 positions, so it's not really making us bleed too badly. But let's go ahead and look at all our positions right now. Let's look at leg first. This is the one we were short in, and for good reason. You had this like quadruple top going on here. Good solid level support, and then when we got into it, it was retesting that overhead support level. But today it's breaking out, so I'm trying to look for a pullback here, because it's been perpetually moving higher. It is it's going to be nearing the R3 possibly here pretty soon, and at that point I'd like to see if we can get a bit of a pullback off of those pivots and the testing of those pivots, and try to go ahead and cover that position for a small loss there. We're only down about 1.5% on that trade right now. Next one, HUM. This is our longest, oldest trade, whatever you want to call it. Ascending trend line, when it broke out back in late May, it looked really good from there, and then since it pulled back, went into negative territory, But one thing it never did, and this is where my stop has been the entire time, it's been on the bottom side of this trend line here, just waiting for a break of it. But it's tested it perfectly every time and held. Once again here back in early June, and then here again today, and every time it just keeps moving higher. Now it's back above this ascending triangle pattern that I originally traded off of. So the theory for trading it is still valid, and one that I'm going to hold into tomorrow. APA, not as good of a look to it, but this 20-day moving average continues to be my rising stop loss on this trade. So that's the one that that's the moving average that I'm looking at here for whether or not this trade can stay solid for us. Right now we're at break even on the trade, so there's been no real gains made on this, but it still sets up pretty good, and one that I want to continue to hold. DSW. We got into this one back on the 11th, so that was Tuesday. Breaking out perfectly today. This is what I was hoping for, to happen on Tuesday or Wednesday. But sometimes you got to be patient with this market because it doesn't always care what you want. Breaking out looks really solid. Throw it about that. I would like to see the volume though pick up a little bit on that one. So KSS Coles. This bull flag pattern. It's like, when is this thing going to play out? I mean, it has taken forever. Technically, it's just like a few cents above this bull flag pattern. You can't see it unless I really zoom in on it. Then you can see it. So that's a good development today. What I would really like to see, I'd like to see it just like crush right through it and maybe get up to 52, 52 and a half, for that real solid confirmation. Right now, we don't have that. So, but it's still good. I got my stop loss on this trade at 50.59. So if this thing breaks below the lows from June 6th, that will be my cue to get out. Amazon, a revisit down memory lane here. We had traded Amazon, I think it was last month we traded it. We held it for a while. It did good for us. And, we're behind it on the pullback. Once it got above this upper Bollinger Band, I decided, you know what? Probably going to pull back. Actually, I didn't get out on this one here. I got out on this one. On June 7th. It still moved higher the next day, but eventually gave back those gains. We got in today actually at 273.23, so it's moved a couple bucks since we've gone out. We're up a good 1% on the trade right now. And finally, RKT, which I did a post on. Not Rickety, it's RKT. This is a beautiful one here. You got a nice upward trend line here, and you can look at the post too. I won't go all the way through it again, but you got a breakout, a consolidation, a bull flag, just everything you really want in a solid trade setup. So overall, today it's hard not to tilt this market more towards the favor of the bulls after you see a day like today. The leg is probably going to get covered here before the end of the day, but overall, I mean, it's the chart isn't perfect right now, but the thing is, and I talked about this in a post yesterday about bullish feelings versus or bearish feelings versus bullish realities. The feelings out there is bearish for sure. You start seeing these sell-offs and everything else. The highs getting taken out and then moving back lower again. But the reality is that we're not really breaking any support levels, so it's hard to get quote short over a multi-day period where you're swing trading or positional trading to the short side. So those are my thoughts. I hope you guys have a great rest of the trading day. Don't keep piling on shorts out of determination to be proven right, because that'll prove you wrong a lot more. So be willing to take the losses where necessary. I'm going to do that here with LEG in just a moment. So God bless you all and have a great rest of the day.